Hi, Ranger Greg again. I'm at another one of my favorite spots here at Whiskeytown National Recreation Area. In fact, it's the Whiskeytown Lake, off to my side over there. And I probably look a little bit different from past videos, and it's simply because I'm taking this out on a kayak tour to a couple of my favorite spots along the end of the lake. Now, currently I'm at the Oak Bottom Amphitheater, which happens to be Whiskeytown National Recreation Area's kayak tour launch point when we do kayak tours. Now, in getting ready to do this, I want to make sure that I am properly outfitted. You know, being on the lake is a great way to maintain social distancing. After all, our kayaks are certainly more than 6 feet long. But I want to make sure that I am out there being as safe as possible. And the reason for that is due to what's going on in the world right now. If something happens and you fell in the lake, there may not be anybody nearby who could rescue you. So having the proper safety equipment and being able to self-rescue are two very important things. Now, I'm not going to demo self-rescuing today. That would take way more time than what I've got, but there are plenty of videos available online, and there are plenty of very good paddling clubs local to this area, the Redding area, that could certainly help you out with some and point you in the right direction for that. But I do want to show you probably the most the most important safety gear that you can bring. This is my PFD, my personal flotation device, my life jacket. And federal law requires that every person in a vessel has one, or a flotation device, accessible. Now, children under the age of 16 have to be wearing theirs. Due to the current situation, I highly recommend and encourage everybody to wear PFDs while they're out in the water, no matter what boat they're on. If they're on a small kayak like what we've got, definitely, or a paddleboard, even if they're on some of the larger power boats. Now, quick refresher, if you haven't worn your PFD for quite a while, you can probably tell this one's just kind of hanging really loosely on me, which is really surprising given my size. But I do this for a reason. I store my life jacket, my PFD, with all the straps fairly loose. This way, when I tighten them up, I'm getting the nice, strong part of the strap. So I start from the bottom up. So I'm going to clip all the bottom straps, all the bottom clips. I'm going to zip my zipper or clip my clips. Your life jacket may be a little bit different. Now, I'm going to start at the bottom. I know my hands just went up towards my face. So I've got two side straps, one on each side. At the bottom, I'm going to pull those, cinch them up, then I'm going to go to the straps above and do exactly the same thing. Finally, I'm going to grab my shoulder straps, which are there somewhere. There they are, and bring them tight. The idea is you want to be able to pull up on your life jacket and not pull it up over your head. Now, there's a good reason for this. If you have to be rescued from the water, if you fall in, hit your head, and you're unconscious, the life jacket is what the rescuers are going to grab, not your body. We don't want to injure you further by dragging you out of the water. So we want to make sure that the life jackets are snug enough that that we can lift up and use them. It should feel like a warm hug. If you're a fan like I am of Walt Disney's Frozen, and one of my favorite characters of Olaf, he always loved warm hugs. Think of your life jacket as your own personal Olaf and giving you warm hugs. Other pieces of safety gear that I have got: a whistle. So if something happens and people can't see me, they can hear me. This particular whistle is nice and loud and can be heard for quite a ways. The other thing I've got on my life jacket is a light, both front and back, and this is so I can be seen if I happen to be paddling at night. The other piece of important safety gear that I've got, I have my own personal first aid kit, my zombie first aid kit here, that's fully packed. I also carry a backup one just in case this one goes overboard and I lose it. They're both in waterproof dry bags. I highly recommend even a Ziploc bag. The other thing I've got is my drinking water, because I'm going to be doing some physical activity out there. It's warm, I'm going to get thirsty. And the other thing I've got is my cell phone in a waterproof case, in case I've got to make a phone call or receive a phone call or make an emergency phone call. Finally, I've got my paddle, my kayaking paddle. Now, you know what? I'm ready to go. So I'll reconvene with you at our first stop. We're going to see if we can chase down some of the wildlife out here at Whiskeytown. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Hi, Ranger Greg. I'm back at one of my first stops here on our little kayak tour around Whiskeytown Lake. Probably my favorite animal is here, and it's a pretty incredible feat for this animal to be here, given their migration routes are so long. But it's one of our ospreys, and they're rebuilding a nest that they used last year. Osprey mate for life, and they always return, the mating pair always returns to the same area, the same nest year after year. So this pair that's been here currently rebuilding nest, getting ready to lay eggs, have been here for the last several years, and it's really nice to see them back returning. As we go ahead and pan up to the nest, you can see one of the birds just sticking her head out. I'm assuming, I can't quite tell if it's the male or the female, but she's keeping a close eye on us. We'll assume she's the female. Now, osprey are incredibly well adapted to life out here on the lake. In fact, they're one of the few raptor species to feed almost exclusively on fish. So they've got some special adaptations for that ability. One is their feathers are very, very oily. This helps shake off the water, so the water doesn't get down to their skin. It insulates them and it waterproofs them. Another adaptation is they actually have a second set of eyelids that can kind of come down over their eyes that allows them to see underwater, kind of the same way that we wear a swimming mask. Their feet are also been modified. Most raptor species have 3 toes facing forward, 1 toe facing back. Our osprey here takes one of those forward-facing toes, rotates it 180 degrees, so he's got 2 facing forward, 2 facing back, and this allows him to hang on to grab a hold of those slippery fish and get a good grip on them so the fish doesn't escape when they're fishing. Probably one of the best fishers out here is our osprey. So we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to let him or her keep working on that nest and repairing it. When she's done, that nest will be about 4 feet across, about 4 to 6 feet deep. It'll look like almost like a bald eagle's nest, although our bald eagles around the lake are being now pushed back upland a little bit thanks to the osprey returning, and their nests are significantly bigger. Hopefully at some point this summer we'll get a video of one of our eagle's nests for you. So we're going to go ahead and head on to our next stop. We'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Hi, Ranger Greg. I'm back here at Boulder Creek. Now, this is a pretty familiar spot for everybody if they've been out on any one of our kayak tours, but now it's completely different from how it's been in the past. Thanks to the debris flow or the movement of sediment due to the car fire coming through here, it's kind of filled in this area. If you were here in times past, you know this was a nice deep gully in here and gulch that you could get back in here. Now it's starting to fill in, and one of the really neat things about this is that the rangers up here at the Park Service, our mission statement currently is recreate or recreate Whiskeytown. If you take a look at the spelling of that word, you'll find out that it's spelled exactly the same. It all depends on how you pronounce it. Well, nature's doing a pretty good job out here of recreating Whiskeytown with these current sandbars. But if you take a look off in the distance, you notice some green coming in by the sandbar. In fact, if you can see the Canada goose over there, one side of him is sand, the other side is green. This is slowly turning into a meadow with a creek running through the middle of it. In this case, Boulder Creek. And in not too many years, this is going to be, you're going to start seeing some trees growing out here, and we've already got the grass growing, and this is going to be a wonderful shaded beach at some point in the future. So in the meantime, I'm going to head on in there and just explore it a little bit, so we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Hi, Ranger Greg back here again in my favorite spot in Whiskeytown, still in Boulder Creek, and as you can see behind me, it's well named. Now, these boulders started their life on the top of Shasta Bali, the tallest point in Whiskeytown National Recreation Area. They've come down during what's called debris flows, and this is when large objects start to come down due to gravity and rain conditions. We usually see them in a post-fire environment, and one of the dangers out here currently is the fact that we haven't had any large-scale debris flows. It's one of the reasons you may come out here during the summer only to find out that your favorite area has been closed. It's due to your safety. We want to keep people safe. That's our first priority. And I don't think anybody wants to have any of these car-sized boulders come rolling down at 60 miles an hour. And that is possible to happen out here. But what these boulders are bringing with them is a lot of the smaller material from up on top of Shasta Valley, and it's slowly moving into this lake area and filling it in. Come back in a million years or so, Shasta Valley is going to be much shorter and the lake is going to be much shallower. So as you take a look around, keep in mind that the car fire really hit this area very hard, but as you can see, nature is recreating this slowly but surely. And some of the other plants, we saw some of the grasses earlier, and some of the larger foliage is starting to come back in, starting to fill in those gaps thanks to the added sunlight from the canopy being gone. And even a lot of the trees survived, and they'll be back. And this is still a gorgeous area to come out and visit, so I hope that when you do come out to Whiskeytown, make sure you stop by Boulder Creek. Make sure you do it safely with your proper safety equipment, such as your personal flotation device, your PFD, and maintaining social distancing. So I'm going to sign off now and start my round trip back in, and we'll see you soon at another one of my favorite spots. Bye-bye.